As you went about your daily business, I want to ask you now, what worries you most about the web?
Well, people have asked me that question for the last 25 years, and my answer has always been that the main worry is that it should be end up being completely controlled by some organization. So initially I said, well, that depends which country you're in, whether you're worried about the government or you're worried about a company. Now, in a lot of countries, both East and West, when you look at the government and you look at the companies, it's hard sometimes to actually tell where one begins and the other ends. So let me say then the fear is that some entities should get to have control of the web.
And this might be an avaricious corporation, it could be a benign government that's even incompetent, misusing data, it could be criminals as well. There's a wide range of potential.
There is a wide range, and of course there's stuff happening. I suppose if you look at the things that happen in some Middle Eastern countries, that the web is completely monitored, and even though some of them there's a lot of censorship, some countries there's actually not so much censorship because they let you go to whatever website you like and they just watch. There was an attack by one government on its citizens in which they managed to get all their social networking passwords and just then they could log on as a person and find out who all their friends were. So they could rapidly find out who the dissidents were, and those dissidents could be rounded up and would disappear all at the same time. So if you're spying on the net, then that's an extremely powerful tool as a government. Meanwhile, commercially, then lots of people are worried about the fact that there have been trials, for example, in this country, where BT did a trial with a company called Form, with a PH, where they put in equipment that would just look at every web page, look at the URL of it, and record it, and then just look at all the text coming back and just keep a profile of all the words. So that for your household, they would have a profile of all the words which were looked at on the web by people in your household, and they were going to use that. So they're going to sell that information to advertisers. But can you imagine what an incredible, accurate profile, what incredibly sensitive information could be revealed in a way by that. So there are lots of failure modes. Some of them are small. Some of them are small in which just you've paid for internet connection and you're trying to watch a movie, and meanwhile your internet service provider has currently has a good deal on its own movies, and so they slow down the packets coming from the other movie supplier just to give you an extra incentive to go and watch theirs. That's commercial. That's just being sneaky commercially. It's messing up the internet market. So that's what we call net neutrality, and that sort of thing is we talk about. The web shouldn't, the net shouldn't discriminate. It should be neutral. That happens in really quite civilized countries.
And who do you find is it the corporations, the governments are most resistant to that kind of net neutrality? Who do you find objects most, stands in the way?
I think, it's the large, it's the companies which are large internet service providers who feel that if they've got enough power in the market, if they've got, for example, they've got enough people that signed up as clients who don't really have another option, either who won't switch because it's so difficult to switch to a different internet service provider, or actually they don't really there isn't really another one. Which in case a lot of people in the States, for example, they've only really got one person they can go to. So imagine so it's the large companies who think, now, if we start to spy on them, if we start to control, if we can control where they buy their stuff, we've got it made. Yeah, we can spy on them and we can give them really incredibly insightful advertising because we know exactly, by reading their email, we know exactly what they're looking for. But in fact, we can even we can start blocking them going to competitive sites. We can start to make sure basically we and our partners will be their complete online experience. We will basically, we will effectively be able to control where they spend their money, and actually, you know, we'll be able to control who they vote for, and we'll be able to control